Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. We're just talking. We've done the firearm thing on this show a couple of times over the past few years,
and usually we get to shouting at each other.
We do, but we're not. I wanted to keep it confined to what the president talked about today, and whether or not maybe from a political standpoint you thought the message was effective. The typical thing.
Well, they did cry. I mean, crying is always effective, and that always makes the rest of the world have security in your president's ability to lead. Is when they cry.
Yeah, because George Bush never got emotional, and Ronald Reagan never got emotional.
Well, they never cried.
Yeah. Certainly.
They never cried.
Certainly they did.
They did not.
What about 9/11, pal?
What presidential candidate? They made fun of his wife, and he cried in his defense, and they made fun of him for that. Was that George McGovern? I can't remember.
I don't remember, but I do remember George Bush getting choked up around 9/11. And I'm sure that there's some campaign stock footage of Ronald Reagan getting choked up too. So when you're talking about the slaughter of first graders and kindergartners, come on. Your former Speaker of the House, John Boehner, cried at the drop of a hat.
Well, because that's why he's a former Speaker of the House. You can't lead and cry at the same time. Come on. No, what did you think about it?
I thought from a political standpoint, it was effective, but a non-starter. A lot of the stuff that he talked about, we already have. We do have background checks. There are loopholes that we on the left like to talk about, but I don't know that there's much political will to try and close some of those, private sales and things of that nature. And I'm so fed up and exhausted with the question of guns and firearms that it really doesn't mean very much when anybody talks about it at this point. Well, you can laugh at the NRA because they're cartoon characters. You can sort of shrug your shoulders at the president because, he's not, especially in 2016, he's not going to get anything done in 2016. And if there's let's say, obviously if there's a Republican that wins the White House, that executive action is gone, whatever he decides to take. And even perhaps if a Bernie Sanders or a Hillary Clinton wanted to extend an olive branch out to that side of the political spectrum, they could erase it too. Yeah. So I just don't know.
Well, there's two interesting conspiracy theories that I was reading about today. One is that this is Barack Obama's way of poking Clinton in the eye, because I don't think this is going to help her. What do you think? Him doing this? Do you?
I don't think it hurts her.
You don't think it's so?
No, I mean she's running a very effective primary campaign. I think that she's going to, if she secures the nomination, I think that it's going to be a fairly conventional, depending on who the Republican candidate is, it's going to be a fairly conventional general election about national security issues. And I don't think that there's anybody on the right. I mean, the right, here's the miscalculation that everybody thinks about when they think about how unelectable Hillary Clinton may or may not be when it comes to national security. There's no Democrat born that talks tougher national security than she does. And there's no Democrat running in this field, in my opinion, that comes off as more sincere about national security. Now, her national security policy is the biggest problem that I have with her, personally. That's the most problematic thing about her candidacy as far as policy issues, in my opinion. But I don't think there's a Republican. Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio is running against her, trying to talk foreign policy with Hillary Clinton would be like, a 5-year-old trying to talk to one of us about doing the radio show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
That's how it's going to come across.
We probably get better ratings with a 5-year-old.
That's true. We should probably get a couple of kindergarten consultants.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Manny's back point. There nodding, agreeing with me.
Yeah.
That kind of hurts.
Well, we've been told that we're rather juvenile.
All right. The other thing is, I have heard that this thing out in Oregon actually was planned because of President Obama's executive orders that were going to come out this week. And so,
but they didn't know anything about it.
Well, that's what they said, but that's just a conspiracy theory. So do you think, I think that has some traction maybe.
I don't, but I just don't know how it could, because the folks that are doing the demonstration or occupation, whatever you want to call it in Oregon, they've told us what it's about and it has nothing to do with guns.
That's true. But
So
all right.
why would they give political cover? Because here's the thing. There's a segment of the population that's going to look at what they're doing in Oregon in the context of gun rights and say, right on, we're coming to join you. Fair enough. I think there's a larger segment that's going to look at that in the context of gun rights and say, boy, that's a lot of armed dudes. We know what happens when a bunch of armed dudes get together. This is going to be problematic, and maybe think that the president has maybe some more sensitivity towards the gun issue, maybe registration, that sort of thing, and maybe support him a little bit more. I don't see how what they're doing is connected, although they want to connect the two because guns are a really good way to get political traction.
The thing that I read said that since it was going to generate so much buzz with Obama's edicts, that they thought they could kind of coattail their way into drawing attention to the issues that are going on over there. So anyway, well, that will bring up our next segment. We're going to talk about the Hammonds, who are the people that are the core of this, and the Bundys showing up to, again, argue about water rights, land rights, and how we should use, and BLM abuses, for lack of a better term. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Without you, we wouldn't be here. We'll be back right after this break.